There's a fine line, I think, between art and money. Sometimes our favorite piece of music will be something that is generally unsingable or unplayable, but we just hear all these cool harmonic things, and I think we'll kind of lead that way ultimately today. But I'm going to start with a couple pieces of music that are published that have proven to be pretty accessible to audiences in general. A few of these have sort of a conversational aspect to them as well. A few of you might know that I have a professional vocal group called Vocology. The group just opened the Jazz Educators Network convention in San Diego earlier this year, in January. And what I'm going to play for you now is something that we did there. Actually, this is the opener for our set in most cases, and it was for that case. And this is a tune by Michael Franks called Eggplant. And if I can pull up the PDF here. Some of the, wow, all right, the Ba 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 song, as some people call it. So you hear this, it's accompanied with a rhythm section, obviously, a trio, and then for the purposes of making it sound a little fuller for the album, we added electric guitar as well, but that was after the fact. So we started by tracking and recording the bass, drums, and by bass, of course, acoustic bass in this situation, drums, and piano. You'll hear a Rhodes piano on there as well, and again, that was just sort of for coloristic effect. Part of the job of a producer is taking all these elements, in some cases throwing them away because they don't help the project any, but in some cases going, you know what, that might work kind of well here, there's a little copying and pasting involved, etc., etc. So production or producing is fun. It's sort of like writing, but some of it is sort of like copying and pasting in a weird kind of way also, and editing, selecting what you like the most and kind of discarding what you don't like. Okay, so you'll see chord symbols here. Again, it's jazz-oriented tune, and this is a slightly different version than what you'll hear in the recording, but it's very, very close to being the same thing. But you'll notice off the bat, it's not an open score. And in the case of most of these sort of commercial or jazz things, 4 times out of 5, they're not going to be open score. I'll show you guys some open score later, but a lot of that just has to do with how sight-readable is something. Not everybody can read, 5 staffs of open score, and oh, by the way, you have to transpose one of them also. Okay, so that's kind of why it is the way it is. Let me play it for you, and I'll sort of get you guys to follow along here while I'm playing the MP3. All right, so this is the finished version of this as it appears and sounds on the album. Probably make this a little bit bigger for you guys too. That's pretty good.
Okay, check for the light.
Maybe 1. Thanks. Cool.
Whenever I explore the land of yen, I always take one on the chin. And now the silence has almost made me take. I can't reveal the name, but Eggplant is her game. The lady sings to me like white on rice. She never cooks the same way twice. Maybe it's the mushrooms, maybe the tomatoes. I can't reveal the name, but Eggplant is her name. When my baby cooks her eggplant, she don't read no book. She's got a geocache, kind of dirty look. And my baby cooks her eggplant about 19 different ways. Sometimes I just have it all in mayonnaise. Da 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 do I. freckles on her knees.
Maybe it's the scallions. Maybe she's Italian.
Oh yeah!
I can't reveal a name, but I'm white.
Pink is her name.
When my baby cooks her eggplant, she don't eat no book. She's got a Duke and the dirty look.
And my baby cooks her eggplant about 19 different ways. Sometimes I just salad bowl with mayonnaise.
So when you write a chart like this, you know, it's in that wheelhouse where you think, you know, I might be able to get this published. It involves a publisher having to obtain certain what are called rights. Okay, we talk about this in the music business class a lot, to the song. So I'm not involved with that in this case because I have an outside publisher that does that work for me. In this case, it's a publisher called Sound Music Publications, and they're based up in Washington, up near Seattle. They ask for a description. So, you know, it's this really sort of basic little, you know, description that I wrote for the tune. You know, here's what it's all about. This is on our CD. It's by this guy, and it, you know, hopefully accomplishes these things, and you know, has some sort of educational value to it as well for your singers. But they want to know like what the grading scale of difficulty is for it. So in this case, it's level 3, and I believe that here somewhere.
Sorry.
That's okay. I've got their difficulty chart from their website. So intricate harmonies, intricate rhythms, use of 3 to 4 part writing, average vocal range involved accompaniment parts. You know, on the whole, you know, it really goes somewhere between 3 and 4. It's not a difficult piece of music. Okay, I'll play for you guys right now what something that's grade 6 would sound like. And again, these tend to be labors of love, I think, for the most part. I mean, I know that you know this from experience too, probably. Where we write something that, you know, we might only hear a few times in our lives, but like somehow it's a piece of music it's special to us, but we're unbridled and we want to explore the harmonic limits. So this would probably be a good example of that. So this will be a treatment of the actually, you know what? I'll play Fly for you guys. This is cool. Fly is a little known tune by a gentleman named Don Sebesky, who's really best known as an arranger for jazz. He's got a wonderful jazz arranging book as well that gets into strings in the back and, you know, creative use of woodwinds and all kinds of really cool stuff. But you can see here that I assigned this a difficulty of 6. This is something I sent to another publisher. It's still not published. Part of that probably has to do with the fact that they had a hard time getting the rights. But you'll also notice here that there's a much more, you know, involved voicing, and then there's these extra antiphonal parts too. It's unaccompanied. It's a cappella. You know, usually if you're making a demo for something like this, you also want to include what's called a double track to give it a fatter, fuller sound. We can do that using software and plugins these days, but there's nothing, like Professor Towner said to my class the other week, there's nothing like a real multi. It just sounds authentic. The Singers Unlimited come to mind, you know, for a group that would sing with that really sort of lush, fat sound, because they would go in after the fact, after their basic pass, and double everything. What you're going to hear is 2 singers. This is my wife and I singing. We took turns in a closet, okay, in California, at the house, with a condenser microphone. The recording's a little bit older, but here's Fly for you guys. Again, this would be an example of something that is pretty hard, pretty difficult. Okay, so writing, fortunately, there we go. Writing, you know, to the ability certainly of her, and it was a stretch for me in some ways. In fact, you'll hear some low Ds, which I usually don't have. So I think that's the case where I just got up, didn't drink my coffee in the morning, and I just kind of, did the best that I could trying to get them out. All right, so here's fly. You're not going to hear the click track for this, but when we use a click track or a guide for this, it's something to sing along with that has a pitch reference. I'd be lying if I said we didn't use one at all for this. There's also timing considerations as well, so that's all built in as part of the tempo map, which maybe I can show you guys in a few minutes. Here's fly.
All you have to
Any questions about that? This is difficult. It's not an easy piece of music.
No question about it.
Sure,
How long did
George.
that take you to write?
Now, I don't have the original recording of Don Sebesky's version on, what was the album called? Oh, here it is, Giant Box 2. See, these descriptions actually do come in handy because I've forgotten what album that was from, and there it is. I wrote that, 2006 it premiered at UNT Jazz Festival. That was hard because of all the modulations. I mean, you guys notice there's a lot of modulations in there. There's a lot of different kinds of modulations too. Okay, so it's like common tone modulations, pivot modulations, all that stuff.
What do you say we take it apart in an analysis?
Right now.
Later. That's like, have you guys heard the story about somebody puts this piece of music up in front of like Charlie Parker and asks him to read it, and he went, "What the hell is that?" And like that's a solo that you took. Yeah, no, I would rather not, but a while is the answer because the person who commissioned this wanted it to have a really specific flow with holds, and I wish I had the scratch file that she made for me, but she just sang it like a cappella as a soloist, and she said, "I want the timing to be exactly like that." That's a tricky thing to notate timing exactly like that because you've got certain fermatas in certain places and time signatures that have to accommodate certain chord progressions, and it was challenging that way. So I didn't answer your question at all, but this one.
Are you talking like 2-3 weeks or like 2-3 months?
No, not months. I don't think months. No, I think I did this over the summer once, and it was probably like, intermingled with other projects, but I think it was all pretty much done within a month. I mean, but it's not like it was the only thing I was working on. I definitely want to change professions if it took me a month and that was the only thing I was working on, because that would drive me nuts. Yeah. Anything else? It's a good question. Yeah, Christian.
What pitch correction do you use it in?
For that, for example, that was in the dark ages of Digital Performer having pitch correction built into it. That would have been DP like 4, I think. Digital Performer is a platform that's a DAW, digital audio workstation, that a lot of film composers would say is the best one out there for film scoring. A lot of people use Logic, a lot of people use Pro Tools, but Digital Performer historically has been very film scoring centric. That did have some pitch correction in there. One of us does not need it, but I'm not that one. That one just sang on the Jurassic World soundtrack in LA. So I'm lucky. It's a great thing when you have somebody that you can record these demos with who's like incredible.
And that one is also, correct me if I'm wrong, sitting at your apartment right now while you're graciously spending time.
She's at my desk actually right now as we speak.
So we also should be very thankful that Professor Guter, his wife, is out of town and spent some time just for you guys.
It worked out great.
She's not going to kill you, is she?
Also, kitchen for the roses, but nothing. How long did it take to record the demo?
Yeah, so that's what really takes a lot of time because you're stacking. Not only you're stacking, but you're doubling or sometimes tripling these things as well to get a really fat sound. Again, we can do that artificially using plugins now. It still doesn't sound as good. There's still phasing issues, which sounds like comb filtering. I always say, if you've seen the movie Danny Boy, you've seen that movie with not Will Ferrell. Help me out here, folks. Come on.
Not Tommy Boy. You're talking about
Tommy Boy's what Tommy.
Chris Farley.
Chris Farley. So the scene where he's got the fan and he goes, "I am your father," the Darth Vader thing.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just too old.
Sweet.
Yeah. So that weird kind of effect that you get with that fan is what we would call it, kind of like comb filtering. So if you try to do an artificial double, you'll get that a lot of the time. Okay? It took a long time. There's another one that maybe we'll have time to play for you guys that I think is very funny, but it might date me too much / not be funny to you guys. I don't know, because you would have to get some of the references. Let me go to something that's really easy. So this is like something that's not written for artistic value, but it's written because, you know what, it's going to get published. Speaking of which, I see I have 2 versions here. There's a version the publisher rejected. That's slightly different than that. Oh, you know what it would have been? It's because we have a smear that's colliding with an accidental layer that's not colliding with an accidental layer. So just so you guys are aware of that, You know, that they all have sort of their own specifications and guidelines, and they all want you to fit it on as few pages as possible, too. Okay, that's something else to be aware of. This one is done in Finale. I do most of my work in Sibelius. Okay, they just released Sibelius. They're releasing Sibelius 8. They just announced 8. I just heard about this.
Nice.
Yeah. It'll be one of those licensing kind of things, where you like rent it, essentially. All right, so Santa Baby. You guys know this tune, the Eartha Kitt thing? I tried to throw in as many of her inflections, which are golden, as possible. And yeah, I think UNC ended up publishing this one. I don't want to do that. There we go.
You're
Okay,
used to
so.
your office computer.
What's that?
You're used to your office computer.
I am used to my office computer. All right, here's Santa Baby. Again, it's a flivver compared to what you just heard, but it's a lot easier to get something like this published. Okay. This is a student group from Cal State Long Beach, circa 2008, probably.
Santa baby, just slip a sable under the tree for me. Been an awful good girl, Santa baby, so hurry down the chimney tonight. Santa baby, just bring a present or two. Santa baby, a 52 convertible to light blue. I'll wait up for you, dear Santa baby, so hurry down the chimney tonight. Santa baby, I'm on my knees. Woo. Think of all the fun I missed. Think of all the fellas that I haven't kissed. Woo. Next year I could be just as good if you'll check off my Christmas list. Santa baby, I wanna yawn and really dance out loud. Been an angel all year, Santa baby, so hurry down the chimney tonight. Santa baby, just bring a present or two.
I think you guys get the idea. Okay, it's a lot simpler than the other piece of music. There was something that I thought might be kind of fun for you guys to see. Again, there's certain, I guess, connections that need to be made. This is the single most time-consuming project that I ever took upon myself. If I can find it here, it's called. Let's see. Let's see if that brings it up. That's not it. Let's see here. It's only one S. Yeah, part of Miles Davis. It's funny. Let me see here. Okay, so how do I visit my own channel on YouTube? Can I just type in my name?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's that guy right there. Probably recognize him. Okay, so let's see here. My videos. This was the single most time-consuming project I think I've ever done in my life, because there was video, because it was done way after the era of this game, so I had to use an emulator. It's a long story. But I thought it might be kind of entertaining for some of you guys to see. And it's a cappella again. This is one of those closet wonders. And honestly, the most impressive thing about it, I think, is the bass singing on the part of Chris Morey. There he is right there singing with Vocology. And incredibly challenging bass stuff. So,
Zelda Labyrinth?
yeah, exactly. Very good. Yeah.
Anybody play original Legend of Zelda?
All right. Well, you'll see and hear it. This wasn't something for publication. The chart or the score is not, it's not what I want it to be. I wouldn't send it out like that, but I think that's probably what we used. So here it is anyway. We'll see what you guys think.
Zelda, jumping to the line. She needed a hand. sheep and he hates you too. The kingdom, she got the commanded by Zelda to find the young man who would find the Triforce to save this Hyrule, the kingdom in which we fight to live. Save the days. Can she alone do what it takes to save the precious world?
Safety solid. Safety solid. Safety solid.
Solid safety, it was penetrating swiftly right out the drink was threatening the night. I ran people with a tyranny and the treasure thing, hands led by one. Easily denied. See the light of day to plan the demise of Metal Gear, a soldier of fortune in disguise to save the glory of Metal Gear. This armor clutched at his side comes to Wagoland and Dora's command. Door of peace, Rygar is nigh. From a flying castle high above, human beings ushered in by anger. Lick eyes and wire overshared with peace. Door of peace, Rygar has begun. He served Palutena, guns of like Palutena, and tales of endurance. Hands up in the sky, onto a cloud. Darkness and spike and soon, eyes with dew. Glorious harmony, enjoyed by mankind. Banished Medusa turned into a monster. Vengeance and passion through every war. Bloodshed and strife as never before. Three sacred treasures were taken. The land of the ancients was forsaken. Bound before your dead, called upon to restore the rescue the gods of light. Little angel of light, take makes way up from the underworld. The Prince of Darkness, bring this night hero, Arthur, so bring the heat, the shining armor, Arthur the Knight must fight the fight, and the hero fall of the sky. The princess away, Arthur 100 years ago. Now you want to serve and it's proud. And the bark will be ready. Keep going with the nature of the king of people. Come on, stay in your feet. You can choose to be cautious for a sunny tree. This is how they would win all your colors. Take this game all surround you with romance all day long. Death traps fighting, monsters looking resolutely. Monsters waiting. Watch out as we get down to the roof of the tunnel. And so come on, we know others. There are people who don't know this group from a gate that is like no other. Mario, Luigi, the Buzz, the Brothers, all the working, say, Marshall, Bowser, Ready, Scoot, the extra princess, don't, Turn the chip, that music is the people. Keep watching, rock, bam, bam, bam. Stop making it sound, give me off, they all want. Turn to stone. Kicking, jumping in the make their way through the 8 different worlds. Only Johnson will undo this love. Cheer up, look at you back. Oh, Koopa, and Buzzy, beat the let go. For everyone, get down to the groove of our super people boys. You are those who don't know the groove of the 80s. Yet we discovered smashing brick walls with your head. Stopping the shaking till they're on the lead. Cycles to jump our words today. You took it from your Remember the days when we all you and I heard songs such as these. Songs and themes from those days on. Still in our memories, our recollections. In our lives, as we say
We have the lights. That one was a labor of love. Coming up with the lyrics was really fast. It means I played these games too much as a kid. And I came up with the lyrics like a day. That was just really easy. Somebody asked me, can you please put the lyrics so we can see them in little annotations. So, any questions about that whole crazy thing? Okay. Labor of love. That's how it goes sometimes with these things. Sometimes you're writing it for the music, or for whatever, just for a feeling. Let's see. How about something that Vocology did that I did not write the vocal score for, but I produced? Yeah. So here's an example of, say you take a piece of vocal music that somebody else wrote, maybe it's a friend of yours in this case, one of my friends. The idea here is that we did 2 versions of this, and it was like pulling teeth as a producer for me to try to get use this sort of drum groove module we've got in here now. You should all try using it. It's called Stylus. It's really cool, okay? So the big difference between these 2 versions is Stylus, okay? Let's see if I can pull these things up kind of side by side with each other, and I'm going to try to switch between the 2 as best I can to give you an idea of what that can add. One of these has a keyboard. That's the final version. I'm going to bring it in. I'm going to bring it in right around there. So we originally tracked it. We recorded it with drums, bass, and keyboard. And again, the addition of Stylus just gives it this whole sort of, I think, more contemporary sound. You guys can follow along also. It's a really nice arrangement that he's written here. Very take 6 kind of voicings and stuff. Some of it's very triadic, and you can see the 3rd stack there. But he does a lot of really cool things with tritone substitution. It's funky. He's got prime unisons that sound really cool, I think. Anyway, we'll see what you think. So here's the original version without Stylus. Whoops.
If it takes forever, I will wait for you. For 1,000 summers, I will wait for you. Till you're back beside me, till I'm holding you, till I hear your sigh here in my arms.
Let me show you what Stylus adds to that.
In your heart, babe. If it takes forever, I will wait for you. For 1,000 summers, I will wait for you. Till you're back beside
run to anywhere you go. Every day remember how I love you so, and in your heart believe what.
There's a plucked string sound in there. Does anybody recognize that? It's actually an apple loop. You'll hear it pretty frequently, and I just thought it sounds really good in this section here. Okay.
My God, I know that forevermore I'll wait for you.
The clock will take away the hours, one by one, and then the time will come when all the waiting's done. The time when you return and find me here and run straight to my waiting arms. If it takes forever.
Did you guys notice the bass barrier there? Barrier. That's something we didn't track. We didn't record that in the studio. That's a scientific term, by the way, barrier. We never recorded that in the studio, but I was passing by a good friend of mine, wonderful orchestrator, a guy named Perry up in Los Angeles, and he happened to have something called Trillion, which is made by Spectrasonics, the guys that make Stylus also, and he's like, this is where you got to find your barrier, and you'd never know, I don't think, that it wasn't actually recorded along with the electric bass in the studio.
I will wait for you for 1,000 summers. I will wait for you till you're back beside me. I'm holding you and forevermore cherish your love.
But let me skip forward to the a cappella section because it's really cool too.
The hours, one by one, and then the time will come when if it takes forever, I will wait for you.
So that cool half-step motion on the bass. While the tritone substitution.
I will wait for you till you're back beside me, till I'm holding you.
Yeah, and there's that bass plop into the next section that's also not real. That's something else that's like, oh, I gotta have that there, so we found the right sample in Trillion and fixed it up. There was a student looking for some brushes or something earlier today on a project, and I think maybe she managed to find something that would work for her. So, we have sample libraries that have samples of some of these instruments if we ever need them. I feel like I'm getting off topic, so I'm going to get back to vocal music here. This was a lot of fun. This is Antonio Carlos Jobim's best-known tune, along with A Girl from Ipanema, but this is actually, they did some surveys, so this is the #1. So I thought this is something that's accessible, it's published, and it seems like the audiences seem to like it too. It's kind of conversational because you get sort of a back and forth between the parts. Okay, so again, we've got sort of a little description here that you provide the publisher with. This is something on the style of the tune, and then ultimately, the translation is really the hard part with this one. So I actually put together some MP3s so that the groups could be able to pronounce all this stuff because it's in Portuguese. So for example, to get this.
This is the Portuguese for Waters of March, starting at bar 51.
3, 4.
You know what? This will be better with this. Okay, there we go.
This is the Portuguese starting at bar 51.
3, 4, 1. É peixe, é gesto, é uma prata brilhando, é a luz da manhã, é o tijolo chegando.
Bar 55.
3, 4, 1. É a lenha, é o dia, é o fim da picada, é a garrafa de cana, o estilhaço na estrada.
Bar 59.
Of course, it's nice if you're Portuguese. It's like, yeah, whatever, big deal. Or Brazilian. So and of course, there's a slightly different sound to each version there. Here's what the tune sounds like in the end. the arrangement, that is. Where's the vocal score? Really lucky to have a wonderful guitarist who plays really nice, acoustic guitar on all these sessions too.
A stick, a stone, it's the end of the road. It's the rest of a stump, it's a little alone. It's a sliver of glass, it is light, it's the sun. It is night, it is death, it's a trap, it's a gun. The oak when it blows, a fox in the brush, the knot in the wood, the song of a thrush, the wood of the wind, a cliff of fall, a scratch, a lump. It is nothing at all.
It's the wind blowing free, it's the end of the slope. It's a beam, it's a void, it's a hunch, it's a hope.
And the river that calls the waters of March. It's the end of the strain, it's a joy in your heart.
The foot, the ground, the flesh and the bone, the beat of the rain, a slingshot stone,
A fish, a flash, a silvery glow.
a flake, a bed, the range of a pole,
The bed of the well, the end of the line.
the dismay in the face. It's the loss, it's a find.
A spear,
A spine,
a point,
a nail,
a
drip,
drip,
drip, a drop,
the end of the tale.
É peixe, gesto, uma prova brilhou. É a luz da manhã, é o tempo chegando. É a lei, é o dia, é o fim da picada. É garrafa de cana, estilhaço na estrada. É o projeto de casa, é o corpo na cama. É o carro enguiçado, é a lama. É a lama, é um paz,
É uma ponte,
é um sal,
é uma rata,
é um rato. Na luz, são as águas de março fechando o verão. É o promessa de vida no teu coração.
a snake, a stick. It is John, it is Joe. It's a thorn in your hand and a cut on your toe.
A point,
A grain,
a bee, a bite, a blink,
a buzzer,
a sudden stroke of night.
a pass in the mountains, a bus in the blue. In the distance the shadows, floating shadows of blue. And the riverbank talks of the waters of March. It's the promise of life, it's the joy in your heart. A stick, a stone, the end of the road, the ash of the log, a lonesome road. A sliver of glass, a light, the sun, a night, a death, the end of the run.
And the riverbank talks of the waters of March. It's the promise of life, it's the joy in your heart. And the riverbank talks of the waters of March. It's the promise of life, it's the joy in your heart.
Any questions about that? No. All right. I got time for one more. I mean, I could show them one more.
Yeah, what time do we got here? 30, 33, 30 something?
That says 39.
39? Yeah, probably one more.
Okay. Let's see. What do I have here? Wow.
Especially since there's no question. I know, Professor Guter, I know some of these students have not actually been in this room before.
Oh.
So I think it's good that you've been kind of pointing out some aspects of the lab. Who has not been in the lab before?
Oh wow. Okay, so 2 or 3 at least.
Stylus, Conrad,
Tell you what, maybe they can see me afterwards. Would that be okay? If they have questions.
Yeah.
Awesome. So here's a chart that I'm like one of the most proud of. I guess I would say. but it's incredibly difficult. And I wrote it specifically for Christine Guter's group at Cal State Long Beach, which has won, up until this year, they've won the graduate category in Downbeat Magazine for large vocal jazz ensemble for the last 6 years, which is a lot of years in a row. So, you know, you can write this kind of stuff for singers like that. Putting this all together was interesting. This is not something that they did that's like put out on a recording. I just wanted to have it for, you know, my own posterity's sake. But I started with, they rehearsed it to get the phrasing correct, and then they asked me to do what's called beat mapping to find all the tempo changes that they seem to love in their rehearsal so much. Which one is this? Okay, so this is just the piano and click track. Again, that gives them a reference in their headphones when they're listening. And we've got all these tempo changes.
2, 1, 2, 1, go.
And me talking, you know, for this meter map that we've fabricated. And we fabricated it from this rehearsal that they had. And do I have that? It would be so cool if I did. Is that this? I think you'll hear the voices. That sounds too good to be the rehearsal. Okay, so I'll just play the full version for you without the click track. Again, this would be considered writing something very difficult, and again, sort of in a Singers Unlimited kind of style, really, you know, thick, lush voicings. All right, this will probably be it. Okay, go here, and all the things you are. It just goes through the form one time, which is pretty common for a ballad, or perhaps you go through the form and then maybe there's something improvised and then you come back to the bridge again, or the B section. All right, here we go.
That
questions before we all take off?
I'm not familiar with this notation, the check mark above the staff.
Good. That's called a catch breath. So, yeah.
Same as a comma? Similar?
It's similar to a comma, except maybe it's even quicker. Yeah, good. Yeah, it's, you see it in session singers do that a lot, just like marking. That's a tick. Call it a tick.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody else? All right.
Well, let's all give Professor Guter a hand.
If anybody wants to talk to the studio, or rather the lab with me, I'll be here for a few minutes, but I've got some plans. So I'll be around for a few minutes. Thank you.
Cool, thank you.